The Dressmaker and the Beguiled, a comparative study by Daisy Bottress. Powerful women exercise agency through the intersection of vengeance and sexual desire. The directors of The Beguiled, Sophia Coppola, and The Dressmaker, Jocelyn Moorhouse, readapt the ancient Greek form of revenge tragedy through a modern zeitgeist to transgress contemporary gender norms and to express the devastation of vengeance. The individualistic creation of unique Gothic spaces allows for the interplay between costume, setting, and gender roles, which support the Gothic nature of both narratives. Love holds the ability to motivate, empower, and distract the need for revenge or conflictions. The Gothic space created by both directors intertwines with the segregation of genders, promoting the blossoming of romantic connections. Catastrophic events, or disastrous happenings within one's life, often fuel the longing for vengeance and destruction. Both The Dressmaker and The Beguiled explore distinct Gothic values through their individualistic film style and storyline, which simultaneously aid in portraying the intense motives of complex characters. The Dressmaker is set in the 1950s in the outback Australian town of Dungatar. When Tilly Dunnage returns to her hometown after 20 years of confusion regarding accusations of a supposed brutal murder of Stuart Pettyman, she is fueled by the determination to discover her truth and inflict revenge on the town's people. Being born and growing up in Victoria, the film's director Jocelyn Moorhouse effectively creates an authentic scene in which the movie takes place. The audience is taken on a journey with Tilly to reconstruct and reveal the truth piece by piece. We as an audience discover her past at the same time as she does, promoting the formation of a profound and sympathetic connection with Tilly. Throughout the film, a series of continuous flashbacks uncover Tilly's misconceptualized past, which is aided by Moorhouse's eccentric filmography, creating a tense, otherworldly Gothic space. The Gothic has always played with chronology, looking back to moments in an imaginary history, pining for social stability that never existed. In the heavily cited article, The Contemporary Gothic, English professor Stephen Brum evaluates the power of the dynamics of chronology and how it can be conceptualized within the contemporary Gothic to enhance clarity and meaning. The iconic female protagonist, Myrtle, better known as Tilly, is drawn back to Dungatar in an attempt to explore her past in search of answers, subsequently restating a sense of stability in her own life, which never truly existed due to her rocky family relationships causing her isolated childhood. Throughout The Dressmaker, the current time is predominantly vibrant in colour, signposting the visually Gothic style of the flashback scenes.
Yeah, listen, Myrtle.
I prefer Tilly.
Tilly.
Additionally, these exemplary choices of lighting elicit Tilly's immense vulnerability, heightening audience engagement and aiding in creating a greater sense of sympathy for Tilly. The gloomy clouds which consume the sky throughout the various flashback scenes correlate with the devouring and helpless fear which the young Tilly experiences in these moments. These past-betraying cuts are always dark and desaturated, taking a literal approach in making evident of a time in which Tilly's life was colourless and she saw no hope. Moreover, the distinct definition between present and past crafts a clear contrast between Tilly's foregone and future self, helping to exemplify her growth as a person both physically and mentally. This specific flashback is greatly significant and can be seen as the capstone of the entirety of Tilly's childhood trauma. A candid, low-shot angle is utilised, signifying Tilly's disorientation and imbalance of emotions within this crucial moment in time, while simultaneously heightening the eerie intimacy of the scene. The sudden, unexpected, and chilling death of Stuart Pettyman resonates with the strong Gothic values, while also provoking a deeply unsettled tone and a feeling of unease and agitation from within the audience. The cruel depiction of Stuart, exemplified through his evil facial expressions, his distressing use of dramatic pauses, and his overall aggressive movements, compare and contrast with Tilly's gentle nature and blind innocence. By allowing the audience to connect with Tilly through the evolution of her discoveries on an utmost personal level, we as an audience can easily sympathise with her.
You and me. Forget all about Dungatar. Leave them to themselves and fate.
I was waiting.
For what?
It is the immense trauma faced by Tilly throughout her childhood that leads her innocence to quickly revolt, motivating her to seek vengeance upon the people of Dungatar. Following Tilly's return to her hometown, speculation quickly arises regarding her past, with accusations that she was responsible for the death of Stuart Pettyman. Tilly's genuine uncertainty of her own past, due to the cloud of confusion created over time, further strengthens our connection with her as a character as we experience her unknowingness while on her driven quest for agency. Despite accusations, Tilly's reputation is not entirely tarnished, and she arouses an immediate sense of sexual tension seen throughout the concentrated gazes of men, particularly throughout the football scene. Tilly arrives to the football match in a striking red dress, complemented by vibrant red heels, gloves, and lipstick. Throughout the film, the colour red is used greatly and can be seen as a major symbol of the vengeance contained by Tilly. While at the game, Tilly grabs the attention of many of the men, including football player Teddy, played by the iconic Australian actor Liam Hemsworth. After making acquaintance with Teddy, a strong sexual tension arises. Following the three-quarter break during the match, Tilly changes into a stunning black dress, making a second dramatic entrance back onto the sidelines, which is aided by loud, Spanish-style music, making evident the excitement in which she arouses at the game. The termination of the red outfit is symbolic of Tilly's riddance of vengeance, which is extinguished by her attraction to Teddy. Despite this, Tilly remains wearing her incandescent red lip colour, highlighting the inkling of vengeance which still remains bubbling inside her. As the film progresses and we begin to uncover more of Tilly's truth, we see Teddy and Tilly's romance flourish. Tilly's initial wishes to exact revenge diminish, and her budding relationship entirely distracts her motivation, and she soon finds herself falling in love. However, preceding the tragic and unexpected death of Teddy, Tilly finds herself confused in both her past and present, and her lust for vengeance reignites. Tilly makes an unforgettable exit out of Dungatar, in which the colour red once again comes into play. Tilly promptly drowns her house on top of the hill in paraffin before flicking a lighter and tossing it into the mass of the gloomy house. In succession, she then proceeds to unravel the extensive roll of red satin fabric, which trails down the hill and aids her swift exit. Tilly destroying her childhood home is symbolic of the eradication of her past, while unraveling the red carpet further symbolises the disentanglement of the past and the disposal of the vengeance that she has stored up within her for years. The 2016 readaptation of the original 1971 film The Beguiled was set circa 1861 to 1865 and follows the events that partake within a Southern American girls' boarding school. Growing up on her parents' farm in California, filmmaker and director Sofia Coppola is greatly familiar with isolated settings like that in The Beguiled. Her knowledge of a familiar setting similarly heightens the authenticity of her piece and severely contrasts the cultural and literal differences between the setting within both The Beguiled and The Dressmaker. Along with this, considering both directors are female, the unique agency of women can be exercised to the full extent within both films. In the ambiguous opening scene, Amy, a young student, stumbles upon Corporal John McBurney, a wounded Northern soldier on the verge of death, whom the girls decide to take in, despite the hesitance of headmistress, played by Nicole Kidman. The entire household is inhabited by women, and their immense self-permitted sense of control asserts a defining female agency throughout the film. During the mid-1800s, women were usually persistently watched over by men or had some kind of male influence within their lives. Marriage was highly desirable and also expected, and a man usually took charge of the household. Contrastingly, the small, isolated, and worn-down southern home is run entirely by women, emphasizing the clear female influence within the film. Establishing shots capture the entrance of the grand home, which is lit with dull lighting, creating an eerie and gothic feel. During a French class before the arrival of the corporal at the girls' home, an extreme close-up shot of periodically admissible white lace curtains is displayed. The shot aids to enhance the sinister gothic space, while also highlighting the composure and tranquility of the scene through the gentle movements of the cloth as it moves simultaneously with the tame wind. The bright white colour of the curtains, in conjunction with the naturally lit rooms, represent purity, contrasting the predominant use of dark and artificial lighting after the corporal is introduced into the household. This signifies the uneasy tone created by his presence, and is symbolic of the fabricated sense of security he forms with the girls through his seemingly kind nature and sexual gestures. After hauling the helpless man through the woods, Amy presents the wounded soldier to the rest of the girls back at the school. A series of shots capture the quick initiative of Miss Martha and the girls who follow her, further transgressing the common traditional expectations of women during that time period, which still exist to this day. Both physical and mental strength is depicted through the girls' ability to think on their feet and transport a fully grown man to safety. The clear contrast of genders formed through the introduction of the corporal to the juvenile girls and women compares similarly with the tension created when Tilly returns back to Dungatar. Throughout the Beguiled, John McBurney is referred to as the Corporal, a powerful army figure, presenting him as having a profound sense of dominance over the young girls and teachers from their initial interactions. Contrastingly, the rest of the girls within the home are referred to simply by their common names, lowering their status in comparison to John and creating an immediate and forceful sense of hierarchy, despite the corporal's rehabilitating injury. As easily foreseen, complications promptly arise when the attentions of the girls are quickly diverted by the interplay of sexual desire which surfaces within the home. Twisted sexual connections form between multiple girls and women within the school and the corporal. These are portrayed through third-person shots, which allows the audience to inhabit the form of an ominous character who is aware of all happenings in the same sense as the dressmaker. Through intimate insights, the wicked intentions of Corporal McBurney are unearthed, allowing us to create a sense of sympathy for the oblivious girls whom we experience the emotional manipulation of, alike the profound connection we form with Tilly through her journey. When Miss Martha allows Corporal McBurney to attend dinner with the girls, the camera cuts rapidly back and forth between the girls and John, creating an uncanny sexual tension. The intruding presence of an easily pursuable man allows the girls to abandon their initial skepticism they had about him, considering he was a member of the opposing army, and their inceptive scheme to turn him in is abolished. When John's debased sense of loyalty and sick infatuations intervene, the emotionally unstable and sexually charged Dwemer becomes enraged, pushing the heartbroken woman to seek her revenge, subsequently resulting in John's dramatic fall down the imposing staircase, causing him to injure his leg further. In this case, love does not necessarily deceive the eye, and the girls quickly turn against John. Individualistic Gothic spaces allow for the intervention of powerful female figures, which heighten the agency of women. Although love has the ability to diminish the longing for vengeance, the interplay of Gothic values always exposes the truth.
Okay. Burning off rubbish, were they? Looks like they overdid it.
You never met the rubbish.